Hello, welcome back to a brand new video. Today, we're going to be continuing the series on what Saitama was in My Hero Academia. This is part 5, so if you haven't seen the previous parts, go check them out. Part 4 will be in the description below, and you can also go to the channel and go through there. But without further ado, let's begin part 5. 2 days has passed since the sports festival, and a lot of the students are becoming more recognized. Saitama, on his way to school, is continuously praised for his work in the tournament. Mr. Aizawa comes in and talks to the students about internships and writes on the board the number of offers each student got. This time, Saitama, Shoto, and Bakugo led the class in the thousands, and Deku sadly still got the one from Gran Torino. After this discussion, Midnight walks in, and the class has to choose their temporary hero names. Midoriya uses Deku still, and Tenya uses his name as he's still very distraught. Saitama, not really paying attention, accidentally says yes to a suggestion given by Kaminari. Kaminari runs up to the front before Saitama can do anything, and on his board for Saitama the words "Keep Baldi" are written. The class laughs, and as Midnight asks if Saitama is okay with this, not really paying attention, he responds with a simple yes. After class, All Might gives Deku the note from Gran Torino, solidifying where he'll be going for this upcoming week. Meanwhile, Saitama is told to decide from all of the following thousands of offers. Saitama becomes frustrated at this conundrum and randomly selects an agency. He hands his form in to Mr. Aizawa, and Mr. Aizawa responds by saying it was a great choice. The agency in which Saitama has chosen is Sir Night-Eye's agency. The class says their goodbyes and take off on their new quest. Since Saitama isn't near the battle of the hero killer, the story takes place like the normal. On Saitama's first day, he notices that there are a lot of All Might posters. He asks why, and Sir Night-Eye simply responds by telling Saitama that he is a big fan. Sir Night-Eye then asks Saitama to try and get a stamp. When Sir Night-Eye says go, Saitama zips over and grabs it instantly. Sir Night-Eye is shocked, but didn't expect nothing less. Throughout the week, Saitama would go on walks with Sir Night-Eye and Bubble Girl. He was also introduced to Miro, a third-year UA student. The week ends, and Saitama is very thankful to his peers, including the week. Before Saitama leaves, Sir Night-Eye tells him that he may be used in an important mission in the upcoming future. After the week in which everyone had come back from their internships, Class 1A talks amongst one another about their experiences. When Saitama is asked about his experience with Sir Night-Eye, he simply replies by telling the class that it was cool. Saitama's simple answer pisses off Bakugo, and his hair spikes up again. Then Kaminari brings up the point that Deku, Shoto, and Tenya have changed the most due to the hero killer. Attack. There's quiet at first, but Tenya snaps back into his old self. After that class, All Might brings Class 1A to the training grounds. The first group still consisting of Deku, Tenya, Sero, Ashito, and Ojiro. During the race, Deku still impresses everyone, but slips on the pipe. For Group 2, it's Saitama, Kirishima, Kaminari, Asui, and Jiro. At the horn, Saitama zooms over, and before All Might knew it, Saitama was right beside him. After the training, Mineta finds a peephole and gets stabbed by Jiro like in canon, and the day ends with Deku talking to All Might about the hero killer. Some time had passed since the internships, and Mr. Aizawa brings up the final exam. When it comes to the midterms, Saitama finished 17th out of 20. It's not great, but due to his early studies in business, he was able to better educate himself than people like Kaminari and Aomi. After lunch, where Deku and Tenya tell everybody about the information Kendo told them on the practical exam, Bakugo still goes on his rant about how he's mad about the way Deku is using his powers and declares he'll be the best. When it comes to the information studying, Saitama does his best, actually trying to pay attention when studying. At the end of the written exam days, Class 1A moves on to its practical. The students find the news about how the exam will be completely different. Everyone is distraught as Principal Nezu explains the new objectives. The only match that will end up being different, of course, is the team Saitama is on, which is Kirishima and Saitama versus Cementos. This is because the staff of UA don't know where Saitama's power stands right now, so therefore going up against someone who can test abilities by putting up walls is the best fit. Kirishima is still in this match for the same reason like in canon. The match begins and Kirishima brings up the point about how capturing would get them more points. Saitama agrees and the two set off out for a cement toss. At an open street, Cemento starts building walls. Kirishima starts destroying them as multiple walls fly at him. Saitama, on the other hand, is completely oblivious to the walls as they pass through him. He begins thinking about what he wants for dinner. Kirishima, out of steam, asks Saitama to deal with him as he slowly loses consciousness. Saitama, now paying attention, throws an air punch towards Cementos and every single wall protecting him comes crashing down. The air then sends Cementos flying and unconscious. Saitama goes over and ties him up, and the two pass their practical. The next day, the students are told whether or not they'll be attending the camp. Mr. Aizawa reads out the list of people whom won't be attending the camp. Kaminari, Ashido, and Sero for failing the practical part. Saitama is then warned as he barely passed the written part. Mr. Aizawa then states that it was a logical deception, and the class freaks out. The class then decides that they should go to the mall in order to get ready for the camp. At the mall, everybody has a clear idea of what they want. When everyone disperses, Saitama sees a restaurant that looks appetizing and would spend the remaining of the day here, while Deku and Uraraka meet with Shigaraki. The day ends with Deku going to the police station and giving his report. And that is going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe and like. And yeah, peace.